back to my channel. It's Key. Today I am feeling very sick. My throat is very sore, so that's why I'm talking a little bit differently. Even though that's the case, I still wanted to get this video out though, because this is a really important video and I just want everyone to kind of like be prepared for the events to come. So today, this video, I just want to get straight into it. We're going to be talking about the Mercury retrograde. So before we get into the specifics of this current retrograde that's going to be coming up, that we are currently in the shadow process of right at this moment as I speak, I just want to quickly just talk about retrogrades on a whole. What they are, what they do, some characteristics about like what happens during a retrograde, and a Mercury retrograde in specific before I talk about the contents of this actual retrograde that's going to be taking place. So what is a retrograde? A retrograde is when a particular planet appears to have changed its direction of orbit from the Earth's perspective. So why I used the word appears is because planets never actually move backwards, but what ends up happening is there's some planets that are faster than others, meaning that in perspective to Earth, sometimes planets will end up lapping Earth, and based on the speed that they're going and based on what planet is positioning where, from the Earth's perspective, the orbit of that particular planet, which the orbit is just the movement, the orbit of that particular planet, if it's moving faster than the Earth, let's say this is Earth and this is a planet, at some point it can elude to be moving backwards in comparison to Earth. Earth's moving forward. This is like other planets going around. But yeah, it's illusionary, but although it is illusionary, the effects down here, when certain planets appear to move backwards in comparison to Earth, we feel those backwards effects as well. So Mercury does in fact travel faster than the Earth, meaning that Mercury does indeed lap the Earth multiple times per year. So it's probably about 3 to 4 times, depending on which year, that Mercury does indeed go in retrograde for a span of about 3 to, well, not 4, I would say for a span of about 2 to 3 weeks. So what does that mean? In my previous video, we discussed that each planet possesses a particular energy. But what happens when these energies, when the planet is direct, that's how those energies read. So when a planet is not in retrograde, it's moving forward in comparison to the Earth's perspective. So these energies are direct. There's no wonkiness going on. But once a planet starts its retrograde period, the energies that possess itself in a direct manner, they start getting a little wonky and a little off, and for lack of better terms, backwards, just like the planet from the Earth's perspective. So basically, whatever the planet does, those energies follow through. If the planet is direct, those energies are direct. If the planet is in retrograde, meaning it is appearing to move backwards at this point in time, so is that energy. So again, referencing my last video, when we look at Mercury itself, we know that this is the planet that deals with things on the mental level and things like intelligence and communication as well. So what happens when the planet of communication and intellect appears to be moving backwards? Well, those things get a little bit foggy. We start to see complications in our lives to do with those aspects in particular. So what does this look like on a literal level? We can see, due to the communication aspect of Mercury, we can see things happen like technology breakdown and technology complications. We can also see challenging communication with others, and this can lead to arguments, misconstrued words, disagreements, things of that nature. We can also see things take place like maybe delayed or lost mail, unexplained, unsent text messages, calls maybe that were supposed to come through to you you didn't receive it for some weird reason. This energy can also contribute to you feeling mentally scattered. As for thinking and headspace right now, things are a little bit foggy and you don't think as clearly as you normally would when Mercury is direct. This can also provide complications in self-expression, expression of ideas, and it can also cause complications with you processing information as well. So on the grand scheme of things, when Mercury is in retrograde, it's advised to not do things like start new jobs, have any important conversations, move on to new tasks or new projects in life, maybe like things like school, because when Mercury is in, as I said, it deals with like intelligence, communication, those aspects of things. For as long as Mercury is retrograde, as I said, things are wonky. So it's a very unstable energy to be starting those things off, because as soon as Mercury goes direct, you can see that those things that you had planted seeds towards on backwards and unstable energy, it won't be long lasting. Also, if it comes to any signing of any important documents or papers, that is also advised to put on a halt, because as I keep saying, things right now are not clear. So exchange of ideas, communication, and your overall headspace right now is not moving direct, clear, and strong in the way that it normally is. So for as long as a retrograde period is taking place, like if you do go forth and do these things, you will see that once the retrograde period ends, when the energy is direct again, those things that were built upon or seeds were planted towards, you'll see them start to basically, you'll see that they're not going to be long lasting, and you're not going to see the stability in it. So whenever a planet is in retrograde, specifically Mercury, this is a time for not more so action, but this is a time for reflection. Before you make, this is like a time for like editing, revising, and reflecting. So before you go ahead and do whatever it is that you want to go ahead and do, maybe it's a business plan, maybe it's a specific conversation you've been waiting to have with someone, Mercury retrograde allows us to sit back and revamp what it is that we want to do. So let's say if it's a specific conversation and I've been wanting to have a specific conversation with my best friend about something that's been bothering me. Mercury retrograde is not the time that I would choose to do that, because as I said, communication is wonky, backwards, self-expression is off. So you may say something with the genuine intent that it's going to come across the way that you want it to, but because of that wonky energy, it may not even read the way that you think. So with that being said, use this time to sit down and think. It's not more so a time for action. And as I said, Mercury retrogrades last for about 2 to 3 weeks. So to some, that's a long period of time. But when you look at things like revising and sitting down and reflecting sometimes can take a while. So yeah, that's what this energy is basically there for, to basically give us a halt in our steps and where we're at, and to sit back, reflect, revise, revamp, so that when it's direct again, we use that energy and we flow through with it effortlessly. I'm gonna leave off right here with this particular video, because I know I've been making, it's like I'm trying to do this new thing where I'm making my videos a little bit shorter, but I'm gonna leave this one off right here, but I'm going to be following up with another video talking about the specifics of this retrograde coming up. So I was originally going to include it all in one video, but I'm going to chop it into two. So for those of you who already know what a Mercury retrograde is and you don't want to go through this and blah, 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 you guys don't got to watch this one, but I'm going to have another one that I'm posting directly after talking about the specifics of what's going to be going down. So stay tuned for that one. So if you guys are watching this video, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked this video, please like, comment, and if you're not already subscribed, and as well hit the bell so you can turn on your post notifications, so whenever I drop a video you guys will know automatically. But yeah, thanks guys. I'm going to be posting the part 2 to this very shortly, so stay tuned for that. And thank you guys so much for tuning into my channel. Bye.